I'll let everybody get in before I start jibber jabbering. For some reason, chat wasn't working before, so obviously we had to start over and then we had to do it again. I'm pulling up the YouTube link so everybody can participate, and if comments come in, go for it. Just go for it. Let's see. I know this is also like weird to see us going live because this is a rarity. Um, this is something that we'd like to change in this coming year. Okay, so I don't mean to, send a text that you get from like your mom or dad that's like, oh, call me with the title. This is my first sip of coffee, so give me a second. Um, I just want to say, I should probably turn on this light so you can see my super pale skin a little bit better. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watched, to everybody that's tuned in, to everybody that has found a safe space to express themselves. Even if you hate our guts, you watch. If you love our content, you watch. Um, Thank yous out of the way. Firstly, producer, publisher extraordinaire Michael Spieger, Cenk Uygur, the CEO, Steve O, Dave Kohler, Judith Ben Ezra, Ben Mankiewicz, my mentor, who I flew out for a day. I told this story on the live stream that TYT did a while ago, but I flew out in 2011 on a limb when I was applying to when I was applying to like small town markets to go do broadcasting for like baseball teams. Like everyone needs to understand, Ben met with me out of the blue, and it took some time, obviously. But then, after an entire day of hanging together, he was like, "So do you want it?" And I took over. Um, I told this story as well, so it's public knowledge. But Steve O called me into what we called Cenk's office, but really it was just like a small little room with a refrigerator back in the day when we had toilet water dripping down. And he told me that he was going to kill the channel. This was back in 2011. And I pleaded with him to just give me a try, just allow it and allow me and my vision as a 22-year-old. That's amazing. As a 21, 22-year old to just be like, let's just give it a whirl. We did. This channel has gone through many makeovers, as a lot of people know. Um, and throughout the years, I think we've built something great. But I really think that we have hit our peak, um, and we're not falling off the mountaintop because of you guys, because of the work of activists in the community across this country and across the world. We gave you stories from Nigeria and Bahrain with F1, how they're turning a blind eye to human rights violations. It has been a learning curve for everybody, including myself. But I'm just so, so proud of the work that we're doing. I'm proud of what we will build in the years ahead. My main thing is hoping that you guys are appreciative. That's the biggest thing. I do these stories every day because it's cliche, but I think there's just more to it than a box score. I really do. And I felt that way for a long time. And I'll just tell a really, really quick story. When Kaepernick started kneeling, I felt somewhat alone in my views because personally, my belief was everyone misinterpreted it. Now, he has obviously been validated. But in the beginning, it felt like an isolation. Um, Coworkers were ripping me. Um, Family members didn't understand where I was coming from. And I even brought a political tone to a past broadcast where they did not like what I was saying, so they sidelined me because I thought one athlete should not be celebrated because he uh, is a fighter of anti-gay rights. And if you want to look up who the athlete is, I'm sure you could find it. Now, although I got sidelined that night um, from the broadcast, I knew that there was something there because it felt right and pure and true. Let me make sure. If you guys are writing comments, I'll try to get to them. Um, and I'm just proud of what we're doing. I'm proud of you guys allowing me to share these stories. I'm super appreciative of everybody that has sent me stories. Now, obviously, those go hand in hand with being an on air person and getting death threats every day or at least 2 times a week. Um, One of my personal favorites that I'll never forget is when the Civil War starts, I'm going to be someone's first bullet. It's a small example, but it is something that occurs. But because of you guys, I continue. Because of these stories that I want to share, I continue. Because of the belief that many have in me, including Jank, but also other people, I continue on. Um, and it's just really interesting where we were and where we are and what we are fighting for and how this is a lifelong mission. This is not something that just happens overnight. And that's why I was pretty critical of, for example, the NFL putting "It Takes All of Us" or "Black Lives Matter" in the end zones. Because as we have learned and as I have tried to do hours and hours of research and bring a opinionated, but in my view, a well thought out opinion and argument of a corporation like the NFL is not going to fight the way that we will. There are more of us than there are of them. We just need to express those voices. And so, some things that I want to do in 2021 is have more people on. I want to start doing Twitch more. I want to start doing live streams more. As you guys have seen, and as a lot of people who look like me have told me that I am a loser, I'm a sellout, I'm a hypocrite, I hate my own people. It comes with the territory. But some of the things that I want to do is have more people on, have more discussions. I'd like to interview more artists in the music space. Now, it could be someone like YG. It could be one of my favorites, like Yasin Bey. I was watching interviews of Q-Tip today that inspired me. I'd like to get in contact with him. I'd like to get in contact with Black Thought, who's another one of my favorites. And I just think for 2021, this past year was a building block and it was good. I think 2021 is going to be better. Um, and obviously, I'm speaking for TYT Sports, but just from a humanitarian standpoint, I'm hoping that it'll improve. Uh, I was speaking with my wife last night because that's what couples do. And I just said to her, like, there's just so much death. There's just, it seems like endless death. With COVID, we all know someone. at this point. Um, we all know someone, or we all know someone of someone. There's so many linear lines um, to what I'm speaking of. If you lost someone, I'm truly sorry. Um, if you lost someone non-COVID related, I'm truly sorry. I'm just There's been a lot of people in the comments as well that have been saying that I'm not going to be hypocritical of the incoming president. If you know anything about this company, you should know we're going to be on his ass. He was not the choice, especially for this company. Um, we want money out of politics. We're not going to stop until we have that. How I view it is he was not the choice. Um, he was simply what the party allowed us to have. That was their medium with us. And so be it. I don't think the um, political tones in sports are going to stop. It's like Chris Rock said in one of his stand-ups, like, racism will never die, it'll only multiply. It's going to get worse. They're just not going to have the presidential megaphone to amplify it. Um, Seeing Josh Hawley in the news made me think of Adrian Wojnarowski and what he said, and how he was sidelined for it as well. For a guy who serves Missouri but lives in Virginia, man, that is a hell of a scam. I'm almost impressed, more so than pissed, but really I'm just pissed. But yeah, the message to all of you is thank you. Thank you for sticking with us. It's been a really tough year. It's been a shitty year. Um, we thought it was off to a bad start when Kobe, Gigi, and 7 others died in the helicopter crash in Calabasas. And that was only the beginning. As I said a few moments ago, endless death is what it's felt like. I've not been able, we moved home for a few months because it got tough here. But then we moved back. And I'm fortunate, although it was at a distance, to see family. Because as we know, everybody's getting older. And to not be able to go see them over the holidays, that was tough. I know it was tough for all of you. To not see them over Christmas, Hanukkah, to not see them tonight and tomorrow for New Year's. It's tough. I appreciate everybody making this sacrifice because unfortunately, that's just the shitstorm that we're in right now, is making those personal sacrifices in order for the country to get better, even though people won't allow it who are on the other side of the political aisle. But yeah, I'm really appreciative. I did not think that we would get here. But with all of your help, with all of you guys supporting us, the endless work that we are doing every single day in order to give you guys the content. Thank you to Cassie, to Alex, to Carlos, to Arthur, everybody at TYT. And I'm just going to pat myself on the back for a second. A lot of the stuff that you see is heavily produced by myself in order to bring you guys more, because that's what we want to do. We've been trying to hit, X amount of videos a day. The number is 3. We try to do that. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we succeed, sometimes we save those clips for other days. It just depends on the day. But as we go into 2021, the tireless work that we are doing will absolutely continue. And the only reason we do it is for actually a few. The first is to bring a progressive, uncorrupted message. Uh, the second is hopefully with that message, bringing what's the best way to put this? Bringing a better way of living, exposing what is happening in sports because sports is not immune. It is not pure. There are terrible things that go on. And I hope that I'm just able to bring you those stories so you understand what happens in American sports, European sports, it doesn't matter anywhere. What happens when you peel back the curtain? That's what we're trying to do because we want less bad and more good. So that's my spiel. I appreciate all of you. I really, really do. We could not do this without you guys watching, without you commenting, without you sharing. And if you have any suggestions, get at me on Twitter, get at me on Instagram. It's unhealthy, but sometimes I do gander at what people do right to me. 90% of the time it is negative, but I am up for um, any critiques and more importantly, any story ideas that you guys have for us to heavily research and present. The way I look at it is the way John Oliver does a story, we just try to do that in about 4 to 5 minutes with just as much research. So I love you guys. We wouldn't be here without you. I hope 2021 is better for you. Much love to all of you, and let's make it happen. Be well, everybody.